So as everyone starts to share your name and your organization in the chat, my name is Hannah Mackover. I am one of the program officers with the Baltimore Children and Youth Fund, and I am excited to welcome you to our grantee panel session. The folks that are spotlighted on the screen this evening are our facilitator and also our panelists for this evening, and I will go ahead and introduce them in just a moment. I'm going to start sharing my screen just so everyone can see who we are talking about this evening. So just a reminder, we are recording. I see some chats coming through for everyone introducing themselves. If you have any questions during the session, please just share them in the chat, and there will be some time at the end to be asking some questions to the panelists themselves. And at the end of the day today, we will go through some important dates that are coming up with the application closing date coming up quickly. So to introduce our panelists for this evening, panelists, as I introduce you, please just give a little wave so everyone can see who you are. So our first panelist is Ms. Kim Hicks. Kim Hicks is a lifelong Baltimore homeowner, resident, and community advocate. She has spent many years working with youth in Baltimore City. She is the founding director of the Boardroom Chess, a nonprofit organization that uses rules, strategies, and principles of the game of chess to teach value, discipline, and life skills.
Hannah, excuse me, Hannah. Oh, Hannah, there's nothing. Your screen is black. Yeah, I see your mouse moving, so I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I thought you might want people to see.
Thanks for letting me know. Let's
You're
try
welcome.
That. Let's see. Oops, where'd that go? Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yep. Yes. Yep. Perfect.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. So to continue with Kim Hicks, she is the director of the Boardroom Chess, and as director, she has been responsible for writing and assisting in preparing grants. In their 4 years of operation, the Boardroom Chess has received a total of 6 grants, 4 as a fiscally sponsored program totaling $21,500, and 2 as a standalone 501c3 nonprofit organization in the amount of $185,000, including the BCYF Grassroots Fund grant for 2022. Nicole Mooney is the founding executive director of Black Girls Cook. Established in 2014, Black Girls Cook is a nonprofit organization that teaches inner city Black girls self-actualization, activities, and life skills through the use of culinary arts and edible gardening with an emphasis on Black foodways. Black Girls Cook has received a variety of grants, ranging from small community-based funding to larger grants from national funders. They have received BCYF funds for 3 years in a row. Dion Davidson was born in Jamaica, and her family moved to Baltimore City when she was 12 years old. She attended Baltimore City College and Morgan State University and has been an educator in Baltimore for the last 20 years. She is currently attending Towson University, where she is earning her master's degree in teaching. In 2004, her mother suffered a brain aneurysm and required several brain surgeries. Dion taught herself jewelry making to help her mother recover. Since then, she has created a lane of her own and developed a jewelry making program for girls and women that promotes wellness, Beadly Speaking Jewelry. Dion sought funding from BCYF in 2018 with Be More Empowered as her fiscal sponsor. She was successful in her efforts and launched a virtual jewelry making program for children during the pandemic called Beadly Speaking Kids. The Grassroots grant is her 3rd grant from BCYF and overall her 5th grant awarded. This grant has helped her broaden her vision for her program. Her program will continue this summer thanks to the funding. She attributes her success in grant writing to attending TA sessions that have been offered and working diligently on her craft. Next, we have Terry Uncle T. Williams, who is the CEO of Challenge to Change nonprofit youth mentoring program for at-risk African-American male youth. He started this program after the death of his son, who was murdered in the streets of Baltimore. Instead of it making him bitter, it made him better. He's giving back to help those who are lost and utilize his services, skills, experience, and knowledge to support our youth and young adult males without fathers. Uncle T has gained 13 awards in 2022 and has appeared on major platforms for the work he's doing in the community with his Challenge to Change program. He's currently receiving funding from BCYF. Over the last 4 years, his experience with grant making has allowed him to keep serving his Challenge to Change program year-round. He's committed to empowering the community by implementing conflict resolution strategies, violence prevention, and supporting families that have been affected by gun violence. His relationship with BCYF professionals and enrichment volunteers helps deliver instruction and enrichment activities to bring together communities for community engagement for healthier neighborhoods and structured programs. And last but not least, we have Marcia Williams, who earned her bachelor's degree in psychology and child development and brings her skills as a teacher, therapeutic life coach, mentor, counselor, and leader to support community collaboration and the coordination of large projects to strengthen their youth, community, and the Challenge to Change organization. Marcia serves as vice chair and manager of operations for Challenge to Change, a nonprofit youth mentoring program. She takes great pleasure in working side by side with her husband, Terry, Uncle T. Williams, the visionary and CEO of Challenge to Change. Her relationship with BCYF has been challenging but rewarding through the process. BCYF has worked relentlessly with Challenge to Change, and it has taken time, relationship building, commitment, workshops, and training to get to where they are now. BCYF was the first to fund Challenge to Change and helped get them off the ground. Funding from BCYF has helped Challenge to Change expand and increase youth engagement and community involvement over the last 4 years. So that is our amazing panel. We are so excited to hear from you this evening. And lastly, I would like to introduce our facilitator for the evening, Lori James Towns. She is the lead consultant from Expand Now, our consultant team that we've been working with to provide our pre-application technical assistance. And with that, Lori, I will stop sharing my screen and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Hannah. I appreciate that. I lost my mouse as soon as I was about to open my mouth. Good afternoon, everyone. It's so good to be here. What an amazing introduction of services that's being provided to the youth in Baltimore. And hats off to BCYF for pouring into the community by providing the funds to these amazing programs and community members as well as others. So thank you guys for taking this journey with us on this panel discussion, this virtual panel discussion. We really appreciate you being here and highlighting your funding experiences for everyone in the audience. And for the audience, thank you for joining us as well this afternoon. So let's just dive right in. Are y'all ready? Okay, all right, let's dive right in. First question is, what advice would you give to a fellow applicant as they prepare their application? Anybody want to go first? And as we're waiting for a hand, okay, Diane, just so the audience knows that not everybody will answer every question because we don't have time. So feel free to use the chat and ask questions and we'll try to make sure we get those answered. All right, Diane, go ahead, turn it over to you.
Hi, everyone. I would suggest that you pace yourself. One of the things that I did wrong in the beginning, and I can share that now confidently with people that it was wrong, I waited till the last minute, and you don't want to do that because you become too flustered and frustrated. So pace yourself, create a schedule and figure out how long or how much time you're willing to dedicate each day to getting the questions answered and creating, a solid proposal. I will also suggest that you become crystal clear on your mission, on your purpose, and what you're asking for funds to do, because if you're not, it will come through in the application. So you want to be clear on what it is that you're doing and how it's impacting the community. So those are the things that I would definitely think about, pacing and knowing or becoming more aware of you and your program.
Thank you so much, Diane. Marcia.
Yes, I would say time, basically the same thing the young lady just mentioned, balance, coordination, and time, and get connected to the scheduling with the different session, like sign up for every session if they have one this quarter, sign up for that, sign up, just grab a hold of the information, everything that they have to offer, every appointment, every guideline, just follow through with every appointment, with every guideline to kind of walk you through and climb you up the ladder to that, to that application. So apply. So just join those sessions. And if you don't get it in within the first session, there's a block open up for the second and third and fourth session. So allow yourself to grab a hold of all those appointments and just continue to download every information.
I appreciate that. Uncle T, you want to chime in on this question of what advice would you give fellow applicants?
I think, yeah, unmute yourself.
There we go. Yep, perfect.
Okay. Looking back retrospectively, when I started out with BCYF, I really underestimated the magnitude of the work. And doing so, it was like asking for 20,000, being that I've never been in the work. I thought that, hey, yeah, I got 20,000, let's go to work. But it was more than just having an ambition or being compassionate about it, being knowledgeable about what you're about to get into. So one of my biggest things is that I would tell an individual, take your time, study. Just don't move with your heart, but move with both your heart and your head. Because it was that tragedy with my son that just catapulted me into this world that I had no idea about. And so again, 20,000, when I jumped into it and didn't realize that I locked myself into a number, and that next year I couldn't say, hey, I need 50,000, I need 100,000, but I was locked into that 20, and boy, did I learn a lesson from that. So just understanding the magnitude of the work and what it requires, and that really, really know what you're getting into before you jump head first into this monumental work.
Thank you, Uncle T. I want to just ask a follow-up question. I just want to be clear. So are you saying that you asked for 20,000 and once you got involved, you realized that 20,000 wasn't enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Absolutely.
all right. I want to be clear that folks knew that's exactly what you were saying, right? Because the challenges and the work that you're doing, the way you're pouring in is a huge feat. So make sure you're asking for what you need or going after what you need. Perfect. Good. Thank you for that. So some of you have other grant experiences with other organizations or other philanthropy givers. How has this experience differed, this grant application experience differed from others? Oh, yes, okay, Kim.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, one way the BCYF grant differed from all the others that I had applied for is that there was so much help available. Prior to doing the BCYF grant, I mean, I was like a chicken with this running around with his head cut off, trying to answer these questions, trying to figure out rubrics, trying to make sure I had the right words. But with BCYF, with the TA sessions, with the resources they had, by the time I finished that grant, I felt like I could write a grant for anyone because it was just, I mean, the information that they gave us was just, it was mind blowing. And once I wrote my grant for BCYF and read over it, and then saw that I received an award, I said, I will base all of my other grant writing on this and on the tools that they gave us, because with all of the other grants, and I have filled out quite a few grants, asked for quite a bit of money, only to be told no, 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 because, you know, it just wasn't worded right. I didn't have the right demographics, the right statistics, the right something in there. But with all of the TA sessions with BCYF, with all of the help, and I tell you, I showed up for every one of them. I remember talking to Dion. I said, Dion, you and I here, we're here for both of them. And said, we got to get something, because it was too much help out there for us not to just fight for it. Just fight for it and believe in yourself. I mean, no matter how. And sometimes it gets frightening. It gets frightening, especially when you've been turned down over and over and over again.
Yes,
but
yes.
Just keep fighting for it, keep fighting for it, and believing in yourself and believing in what you're doing for our young people.
Yeah, thank you so much. Nicole.
Good evening, everyone. One of the things that I love about the BCYF grant is the flexibility in it. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have noticed, but a lot of times with grants, the funders are only trying to fund the program itself, but not like the work that's behind the scenes to get that program initiated. So I love the fact that, yes, the funding can do the day-to-day work once we're in session with our girls, but if something pops up, we may decide we need to do a CPR training, or something crazy may come up. The BCYF funding is flexible enough to cover any expenses that we need to assure that the girls receive a high quality program, but also we're still within the rights of our contracted agreement with BCYF.
Well, that's really good feedback that you and Kim just gave in that space. Marcia, you want to chime in on this one as well? Go ahead.
Yes, I concur with what Kim said. I was to say one thing, the relationships. The relationship is amazing. They don't just leave you alone by yourself. It's plenty of people like to help you. If you fall in a hole, fall through the crack, they will lift you up. And I will say, we have a really, really good TA right now. Kudos to her, off the chain. She is beautiful. And I'm telling you, it's she gets right back to you. She don't leave you hanging. And if you need help, she's always there. I would say relationships. Relationships is really key, opposed to the other ones we assign an application and we can't. It's not really like hands-on. I love BCYF because everything is hands-on. Like you can reach them like this, you can reach them now, their cell phone, because they don't want to leave you like hanging, or you got a problem. We're here to help you, we're here to push you, we're here to lift you, we're here to encourage you. So I love the relationships.
Awesome. I think that you guys went into like the next conversation around the pre-application technical assistance, but why don't maybe we could be a little bit more specific. Was there any particular topic area or any experience that you can remember about the value that, in addition to what Nicole and Marcia said, around the value of attending the technical assistance sessions? Yes, Diane.
One of the things that I didn't really have a clear understanding of how to do was a budget. And so, I know how to do a budget on a regular scale, but to realize that my operations is not going to fit into the $50,000 grant, and realizing that I can apply for what I need here and get the rest somewhere else, but knowing how to put that on paper, that was something that I learned going through the process. And I had someone that actually, helped me through that, and just going through the presentation and learning from, I forgot the presenter who did that last year, but it was just so amazing. It got to the point where I was helping friends with their creating their budget when they were applying for grants. So that's how much it helped me, where I now can help other people and show them the ropes. So it was beneficial in that way. And also expanding the vision, just seeing all that you guys had to offer, it made me realize that I can do more because there was so much information and resources that were available.
Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else want to talk specifically about your TA experience last year? Okay. All right. Let's move on to partnerships and collaboration. Who has had experience with partnerships and collaboration, and what was helpful and what was difficult during that process? Some folks are looking for fiscal sponsors. Some people want to partner with other programs to make sure that they can fulfill their vision. Is there anything that anyone could share in that topic area? And what should you think about is another question before entering into a partnership. All right, Kim, and then Diane.
One thing that we realized at the Boardroom Chess is that we can't do everything. But what we can do is collaborate with others who can strengthen our program with what they bring to the table. We teach chess and life skills, but through our summer program, we have our young people doing resumes, we have them doing financial literacy, we have leadership courses, we have art sessions, and a lot of the other grassroots corporations that we have partnered with, we met through the BCYF, and we've partnered with them. Some are community organizations, and some are organizations we met through BCYF. So when we create our programming, we use other small grassroots corporations just like us to help beef up what we have to make our program stronger. Last summer, we had 63 youth, and we took them, we did team building, we did leadership, we did financial literacy, we did chess, and out of 63, 43 of them learned how to play chess through the opening and to the middle game, which is very good. But all of the other organizations that we teamed with helped make our summer program much more better, because we could not just do it with just chess. And there's a lot of other organizations, a lot of other expertise out there that can help build on what each one of us is doing by bringing them into the mix. And I'm looking here, I would love to partner with some people that's here today. So I'm always looking to partner and collaborate with others.
Yes, Kim, that's a really good point, right? That even if you're the, expert or have the passion in your area, we can't try to do it all. And especially once you uncover the needs of the youth that you're serving, you want the folks who are, have that expertise or have that experience. Diane, let's come over to you for that question.
Yes, so when it comes to partnering or finding a fiscal sponsor, one of the things that I looked for were when I was shopping around, I was looking at organizations whose mission was similar to mine. It has to be some type of alignment because it makes it a lot easier. I'm partnered with Be More Empowered, and they focus on mindfulness. And so with jewelry making, that goes hand in hand, and they service young women as well. So it made it easier, and the support level was amazing. It has been amazing the past 3 years now. So one of the things that made it so amazing is the fact that we can collaborate and do activities together. And so you want to think about that in moving into fiscal sponsorship. And when it came to partnership through BCYF, I think there was a community showcase at the end of 2020. And I was selected to participate in the showcase. And from there, I met a lady named Miss Mary from Unique Fabrics, who was a grantee as well. And so she came on the Zoom and, she said, I really want to work with you. And she was true to her word. So we partnered together, where I also helped work with her kids in the summer program to teach them jewelry making. And from there, she introduced me to one of her friends. She said, one of my friends is Jamaican. Y'all should just get to know each other. She's an entrepreneur. Come to find out, this lady has an orphanage in Kenya, and she wanted me to teach jewelry making in Kenya. But, there was a pandemic, so we shipped materials as she was going home to Kenya in September. So we sent materials already packaged, and I taught jewelry making classes over Zoom to kids in an orphanage in Kenya. So all through BCYF, see how that whole thing just unfolded. And so just don't underestimate collaborations of where it can take you. And, just look at what people have going on in their organization as you're trying to partner with them, because it's been a blessing all the way around.
Thank you so much, Diane. I'm going to go to Nicole, and then Marcia will come back to you. Okay.
Thank you. I would say one of the major things for me for working for partnerships, because I do it a lot with programs, is to have an MOU, which is a memo of understanding. So we understand exactly who's doing what, because I would hate for anyone to have that experience from back in grade school where you have a group project and someone's supposed to do X, Y, Z and they don't do it. That way you have a clear cut understanding of, I'm going to do this, you're going to do this, that way you won't have any issues. And it's also to have, if you decide to ever collaborate on a grant with someone, showing these two organizations are collaborating to present this one program, and this is what we're doing behind the scenes. So they have an understanding of this money is going to two organizations, and this is why they're collaborating.
Thank you, Nicole. Marcia, I know you were just doing a hand raise there, like the hands up.
Yes, I was just clapping.
That's
it.
right. That's right. And Nicole's talking about grade school. I mean, there's graduate school where people supposed to be doing stuff on projects and don't do it. Really good advice, Nicole, about the MOU. You know, for the next question, I think everybody should answer this question. I think all of you will want to chime in on this. I want folks to hear about what you've been able to do, what you have been able to do with the funding that you received from BCYF. Like, I know that everybody gave, and Hannah gave a great description, but there may be like one magical thing that you just want to talk about. Like, without this funding, if not for this funding, we would not have been able to do that. Or maybe how your program has evolved. We've heard a little bit about, the collaborations, working with folks, working, in different, with different folks to build your program, but tell us maybe a one amazing thing that has happened as a result. Marcia, is that a hand raise?
Yes, I'm not sure if my husband know how to raise his hand, so I was raising for him if he can ask that question. I was raising my hand for him.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes,
go ahead.
And yes, I do know how to find.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah.
however, I think one of the most magical things that came out of this dealing with BCYF was this dealing with this whole social emotional learning with the youth and being able to we took them on a trip. We took them to Great Wolf. And I mean, these children, most of the kids we deal with, a lot of them, at least almost 30% of the kids we deal with have lost their parents to the streets of violence, the gun violence. They have gone through so much, witnessed so much. So a lot of the kids, I don't know why I'm sort of attracted, or should I say they are attracted to me because of their pain, their hurt. And so just being able to mesh all that together, get them all together, and that's learning piece, taking them places they have never gone, which the money allowed us to do. And with collaborative pieces, meshing with people that has our similar values. I don't know if y'all familiar with We, Our, Us, but I truly connected. I was able to connect with them real strong, and their line of work is just right there. And again, that was one of the most magical moments for us, is to be able to take the kids out, take them on these trips, show them something different. And had it not been for the funds, we wouldn't have been able to do so. So it's such a beautiful thing to know you have people have the like-minded people when it comes down to really being sensitive, compassionate, and more importantly, understanding when it comes down to the pain of our youth, and not play with that lightly. So yeah.
Awesome.
And Lori, if I can add, piggyback off my husband real quick, just one thing for me was would help us with the funds from BCYF is the expansion, because our program was small and we can only fit but so much in the first building. But with the fundings, it allowed us to expand more. Now we able to take the ones that was on the waiting list and have them transition over to the bigger building, which we will be launching April the 15th. So it's a bigger building where Uncle T has made a dance studio now for the girls. That's like an extension, because they deal with violence prevention and conflict resolution only with the males. But now, since he has opened up an area for the girls, Nicole, Black Girls Cook, we girl power over here. I was just so happy that now the girls can come in, and the building has expanded. We got more rooms, we got more space, and everybody, all the kids are not cramped up in one location now. So that was a big highlight for me.
Thank you for that. Thank you for piggybacking. Uncle T has a message from Mr. Will in the chat. So I know that Uncle T's on his phone. So Marcia, not saying you can't do it, Uncle T, not saying you can't get the chat, but I'm just gonna ask Marcia to grab it for you, if that's okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Anyone else want to add, share about the things that something that they've been able to do? Kim, it looks okay. Nicole, and then Kim, and then Dion.
Perfect. Off the break, BCYF has allowed our programming to even have summer programming. Before BCYF, we only had programming during the school year, so spring and fall. And then when we finally got funding through one of our partnerships, it was during the height of the pandemic. So we were able to shift from in-person programming to virtual programming. And the budget because of course the budget we wrote was for in person, and then once we went virtual, things shifted. So we were able to change our budget to accommodate the increase in having items delivered to girls' homes and having groceries delivered to people's homes. Like our whole program shifted tremendously. This past summer was our first time being back in person. So that was great because we were able to connect with the girls in person, but just to give back to the communities that we work in, we were able to add on field trips every week. So if the girls were learning gardening that first week of our program, that Friday took a field trip to one of the local gardens, one of the local farms in Baltimore City. And then the same thing with our cooking and baking weeks, they were able to take a field trip to local businesses and learn from these women chefs how to prepare their favorite foods and whatever the case may be. So BCYF funding have allowed us to not only launch our summer programming and collaborate with other organizations, but also bring more life to the programs we already have. So the girls can see firsthand, yes, we're learning this through Black Girls Cook Monday through Thursday, but on Fridays, we're actually getting to see firsthand how these skills really apply to everyday life. And it wouldn't have been possible through BCYF funding.
Thank you so much. We're going to go to Kim. I see Ebony has your hand up. Ebony, if you let me know, just chat me if you have a question. We're going to let Kim, and then we'll go to Ebony for the question, Diane, if that's okay, and then come back to you if Ebony has a question. Kim.
Okay, one way BCYF has enabled us to grow is that the funding has enabled us to put two coaches, chess coaches, in spaces where we have more kids than one coach can handle. We are in several high schools, and in the high schools, we work in the cafeteria. And now, one thing with the schools, when we contract with the schools do not pay you till the end of the year. So you have to carry out that budget and be able to pay your coaches throughout that year. With the funding from BCYF, we're able to keep up with our payroll to our coaches, as well as supplement an additional coach in high schools where we have chess in the lunchrooms. And sometimes we have 30 kids coming to our spaces to learn chess, and you need more than one coach there. So that's one thing that's been very helpful for us with BCYF, is building our capacity so that we can have two coaches in the spaces where we have quite a few kids, and especially in our high schools, because we know some of the things that are going on in our high school, and to have these young people consistently see the same coach show up every week for them, and sometimes 2 times every week for them, that is something that's amazing. And without the funding from BCYF, we would really be struggling. We would not be able to contract. Right now, we're in 9 city schools. We wouldn't be able to do it. We would not be able to do it because the way schools pay, it would be too much for us with our budget and with the way that monies come in. So that is one thing. And then also with the funding and with some of the information that we're getting through BCYF, we're able to look at how we're growing and what we're doing and get things in order so that we can become a more viable corporation, so that we can be, get our books in order, get our board in order, get our onboarding, all of those things that are critical to being a corporation. BCYF, the funding and the information has allowed us to see and realize that we could be a lot further along, but as we move further along, we have to make sure we have standards of procedures in place, as well as those people who are helping us do the programming day by day. So it's not just the people that are doing the program, it's the behind the scenes work also that we're getting in order so that we can be stronger at what we're doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. Building your capacity is so important. Expand Now is going to share a folder with everyone, with Hannah, will make available with different resources. You make me remember that, Kim, because I have a lot of resources for building a board, how to create a board orientation manual. Some folks might need that stuff. It's a little different than the other stuff we've been doing, but we plan on having a folder of resources that we'll be sharing with everyone as well. Ebony, hey, do you have a question?
Hi. My camera sometimes, I don't know why, when I'm on Zoom, it starts to like blink. So if it does start doing that, I'm gonna turn it back off. See, there we go.
I remember, Ebony, yes.
Yes, I'm telling you, I do Google Meets all the time. It only does that on Zoom. It's like a glitch with my Zoom, I guess, because I do Google Meets the same computer, same camera. But so, as you know, I've been on a couple of the other sessions. I'm a newly founded organization, and I just wanted to give some feedback to Marcia and Mr. Terry, Uncle T. Just seeing their expansion. I have not received a grant yet. I'm hoping to receive some funding this year, next year, whenever I'm applying. So I got my fingers crossed, but I witnessed the growth in the Challenge to Change. My son has been a part of their organization, and they are a true blessing to the community. So just witnessing seeing from not having any funds. I remember when he started his organization, and I've witnessed this couple spend money of their own to help my son, and take them on trips, and they pick them up and take them to church. And a commitment from the Challenge to Change has truly been a blessing to me and my family. And unfortunately, I lost my 17-year-old son to gun violence last year, which prompted me to start my organization. And Uncle T was like, Ebony, whatever you need, I'm here. And saying that with the vision and the expansion that he and his wife, Ms. Marcia, mentioned, he's offered his building space to me. Hey, if you want to host workshops here, if you want to work with the kids, whatever. So being a blessing to him to receive funding from you guys helps organizations like me that has newly founded started, not having my set location as of yet, but knowing I have the support of his organization to say, hey, you can come in my building as long as, the building is open, use it to your own leisure. And so that's a blessing in itself to me, for him to be able to expand and to have the support from them and being a new founded nonprofit. So, I just look forward to growing. And just even on a more personal note, he and his wife actually preached my son's funeral service. We have a very strong relationship and personal relationship outside of the business, but I'm one of his true supporters that noticed and seen his growth from day one. And the passion he puts in those kids is definitely incredible. And this new center is beautiful. I'm excited for him. So y'all keep funding Challenge to Change, because if I don't receive funds, I still got Uncle T to give me some space in his building. So I just want to thank them. They know I love them personally. I don't even call Marcia Miss Marcia, I call her mom, but I'm trying to keep it professional here. But that's my spiritual mother. And I just love them. And I love programs like yours that allow the opportunity for businesses like him to expand. So that's all I wanted to say. And I'm here to learn and to grow and to get funding and connect with other resources and organizations to help my nonprofit as well.
Wow. Well, thank you, Ebony. You already know how I feel about you from our little bit of time together. You're always honest. You're willing to be vulnerable, and to share your testimony and to lift up Challenge to Change. Just shows the content and quality of your character. And as you know, the TA team is here to support you, like everyone else, but thank you for continuing to jump in. Yes, Marcia, she got all of us fighting back tears right now. I know.
Yeah, no, and that's true. I mean that from my heart. Like, Mr. Terry he's one of a kind. That man is one of a kind. And even with my son who I lost, he was a father figure to him. And unfortunately, we lost him to the streets of Baltimore. But Mr. Terry, I took my son to the church that he and his wife minister. And, you know, he would pray for my son. He would pray with me and pray for my family. So it's just his effort that he tries to, and I tell him, I say, you can't save them all, but he tries his best. If he could save them all, he would. And he puts his life on the line every day for those youth. So it's just, like I said, it's a blessing to see his vision. And he's so excited about his new building. So I'm so excited for him as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I put in the chat, Mr. T and Ms. Marcia, we must come and visit. We got to come and visit your new center. So let us know when the invitations come out, please.
Yes.
Diane, yes. Go. Do we remember the question? The first one.
I do, but now y'all got me wanting to go visit because I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, what magic has happened as a result of your funding, Diane?
So a lot has happened. Before it was just me, and I had this vision of teaching jewelry making and incorporating wellness into that journal and discussions. And then I ended up creating a curriculum that focused on every topic having to do with something in real life. For example, one of my favorite topics to teach is resilience. So the resilient you, and in that we work with wire, and I teach them wire jewelry, and we talk about what makes them resilient. And we talk about ways that we can overcome and ways to cope. So the kids are learning skills that they can take back and use in real life. And also teaching them entrepreneurship, because they make the stuff, okay, now what? You want to sell it? It was too much for me. So with the funding, I was able to contract others who can help me. And one of the people I was able to work with is a trained artist, graduated from Micah, and he makes jewelry, and he's a teacher in Baltimore City. So it just made sense to partner with him because he understood the vision. So he teaches the entrepreneurship piece. So I didn't have to stress myself to teach the jewelry making and the entrepreneurship and the wellness piece. So funding has actually helped with that, and to get someone to assist with programming and take care of all the stuff behind the scenes that, you know, it's too much for me. Again, one person. But one of the things that funding has truly helped with is being able to give back to the children in a way that I couldn't before, because I was taking money out of my own pocket to pay for supplies. So I couldn't give them incentives, you know, for attending the program. And so programming has helped with, funding has helped with that part. And also it has helped me to provide a source of income for people who are talented, right? They're talented, they're finding their way, and I can hire them to do the work again that I may not be able to do, and they're great at it. So again, they're pouring back into the children in Baltimore City. So it's a win-win all the way around for everybody. Oh, and another thing, I launched my summer program last summer, 1 month jewelry making camp, and the kids were able to sell their pieces that they made. And I actually took some of the kids out to Baltimore County when they had the African American Fest out there. And so we had a tent, they set up, they sold pieces, and they got to keep half of the funds that they made. And I would go around to different places and sell their stuff as well. So it gave kids an opportunity to see that, okay, jewelry making is fun, but wait a minute, I can start earning money and save that towards college or whatever they want, you know, start a business. It gave, especially the high school girls, it gave them the opportunity to look bigger. So we're actually looking forward to our second year this coming July for our summer program.
That is awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for sharing some of the fortunes and blessings that you received as a result of your funding, if I may say so myself. So we have about 15 minutes left. If folks have questions, please do as Ebony did and raise your hand so we can recognize you. I want to, there's reflecting on your own experience sort of conversation. I'm just going to throw all 3 questions out. Panelists, you can answer whichever one you like or two that you want to. What was your biggest fear? And now you realize it's your strength. What is your biggest fear that now you realize is a strength? What was the biggest surprise about this experience for you? What was the biggest surprise about this experience? And I think some of you covered this, but I'll throw it out again because maybe it'll spark a different thought. What have you been able to accomplish that you might not have ever been able to do otherwise? I think you kind of covered that one, but I'm going to throw that out there. It's on our list. So biggest fear, something that's a surprise, and something you otherwise would never have been able to do. In no particular order, you can answer any one of those.
Laura, you're muted.
I'm muted. I'm telling Kim to unmute, and I'm muted. Kim, Kim, you could go, and then we'll go to Uncle T. That was funny.
Okay, I think one of my big fears was thinking that people would not understand the passion I had for teaching chess to our young boys and girls, because chess it's a game in itself that is played all over the world, but in our communities, people feel it's not received well. But once I began this journey and realized how many 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-olds we have in our communities who play chess and has a chess score of 1,500, that began to make me it gave me a greater desire to want to teach chess in different areas within our communities, because there's a lot of young people in our communities who would rather not bounce a ball, who would rather not run a mile, they'd rather not do anything physical, but they do want to use their minds, and they do want to participate in things that cause them to think strategically. So I went from fearing what people would think of me wanting to teach chess in our communities to loving the experiences that I saw when young people who had experience at chess, but just because it's not available that much in the city, they had fallen back on it. Just seeing the number of young people who know how to play chess, who would love to know how to play better, and who are interested in just becoming better at that sport. We have a 3rd grader. I've never played him because I know he could beat me. But it's so many young people in our communities who, they embrace the game of chess. And I wish that we could just make it available to them everywhere. And I wish as communities, we would not just, sometimes we say to our kids, oh, that's not a game for you. That's a game that's not a game for Black kids. That's a game for Asians or for Europeans. That chess is a game for anyone who thinks. That's and right. When we are in our high schools and we see these young men, because they're young adults, when we see them thinking through those decisions, and we tell them the same way you're thinking on this chessboard, that's the way you think in life. Yeah, and when we see them perk up, when they connect life and life decisions to the way they're moving pieces on the board, that's just something that really, it excites me. And, our coaches, we talk about it and we celebrate when we have that one student, it clicks on him, and he realizes that, I can make better decisions the same way I'm making decisions on this chessboard. Chess is life. That's the saying, because the same way you maneuver through life through a chessboard, that's the same way you maneuver through life, period, just by making better decisions, strategically thinking out, your plans and all. So I went from fearing what people would think, because in our communities, chess is not very popular, to loving seeing the number of young people come out to learn chess. We had our our tournament, we had a chess meet at Govins for our middle school and elementary school. We had 52 young kids come out and play. And with those young kids, we had over 20 parents come out and play, which was
Wow.
really exciting. And we just want to see that on every north, south, east, and west sides of Baltimore, because we know that the young people are out there and they have a lot that they can show the world. We want to just change the way so many people think about our communities and our young people.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. We're going to go to Nicole, Uncle T, and then come to Marcia, because that's the order the hands were raised. Nicole?
Thank you. My biggest fear, and I kind of touched on it beforehand about us getting funding during the height of the pandemic, was our program actually ending. I mean, how intimate is cooking, and the demographic that we teach 8 through 15, once they decided to start rolling out COVID shots, that group was not part of the mix. So for me, I thought that our program would have ended, but just like everybody else, you had to learn how to pivot. So we learned how to figure out the best groceries to go to, the best delivery processes to get the small wares that the girls needed to prepare the meals, to make sure the in-person classes and virtual classes were both equally equitable. And it just to keep continuing with the programming. I mean, end of the day, yes, the girls are learning how to cook and how to have fun in the kitchen, but our end goal is to make sure they have this life skill that will follow them from now until they get older, to make sure they're not another statistic that have health issues like high blood pressure and diabetes, and a lot of health issues that's correlated to the lack of food education. And also speaking to them about the Black foodways and just explaining to them how watermelon is actually a symbol of financial freedom, and it shouldn't be something they should be afraid to eat because of the narrow stereotypes around it. So for me, there's a lot of other factors that make our program special, but when the pandemic took place, I thought that it would end, but now we can do classes regardless, like in person, online, whatever the case may be, like we're good. So we can continue impacting the girls regardless if they're in Baltimore City in person or if they're visiting their family in Atlanta for the weekends. That did happen once we were virtual, trying to figure out how to make sure girls who went to visit family over the summer in other states were still getting their groceries shipped to them as well. So
awesome. Challenge to change. We're gonna I want to hear from both of you. I want to leave maybe about 5 minutes for questions, if that's possible, just a heads up. And if not, we'll just keep talking and allow Hannah to share at the end. Terry, we'll go to you and then to Marcia.
One of my biggest fears, and I think it's so difficulty to eliminate it because it's so connected to my work, and that is losing some of the young brothers that I have spent so much time with. And I it strengthens my resolve in one instance, but then in another instance, the fear of knowing that all flowers don't blossom at the same time. So I'll be saying like, man, when is he gonna get it? You know, like how many times I have to say it to him? And like, I find myself being redundant, but I start accepting the fact that you just keep putting the work in, no matter how, it's a saying, say repetition is the mother of all learning. And so I just constantly just go at it. But then there's that fear of knowing that when I see them sometime with the wrong crew, and try to convince them, look, I'm telling you, I don't like the looks of this, I know I taught you better than that. And it's like the fear of them not utilizing the information that's life-saving and life-transforming to them the time that they need it most. So is this that fear of, the summer coming, and I see how the year started out, and to kind of show this trajectory of what could possibly be coming our way. With the non-fatals, I factor all that in because I know oftentimes non-fatals turn into fatals. So the fear of the kids not catching the information and utilizing it, but again, I have to always tell myself, that you know what, just know that you have done your best, and that don't beat yourself up. If you lose some, you're not going to win them all. Some going straight, but just knowing that all flowers don't blossom at the same time, and embracing that calling that I have on my life to save these kids.
Thank you so much. Sister Marcia, I put a question in the chat for you. I was hoping you could answer that as well. And then we'll close out.
Okay. Quickly, my biggest fear was when Uncle T had started the program, I was fearful for my husband's life because we had lost our son. And he launched the program right after that. And his passion was like on fire to help prevent mothers and fathers from going through what we went through with our son. So he just went crazy, hitting the streets, just out there trying to stop the gun violence. And I was fearful for my family. I didn't understand the vision at first. So the strength came from the relationship that he has built so much relationships now on the streets of Baltimore with so many of the young guys. And he's reaching, so many of the young man that loves him, that loves the work that he's doing, that loves, his message. And how it actually helped me was the families. I have relationship with the kids' parents. So not only is our services is reaching the younger generation with Challenge to Change in the program, I have relationships with the parents, which means that I'm now inside of the homes of these children, which helps me, to build relationships, to connect that gap between the children and the parents that are over here and the kids are over here. And I'm like right in the middle, we can't reach them all, but the ones that we can reach, it has been such a blessing to me. And to answer Eric's question, with that strength, since my husband started his business on a personal level, I am actually waiting to sit for my exam because I always wanted to be an LCPC, a licensed, counselor. And so to answer Eric's question, he said, how do you deal with mental health and coping skills? Well, I meditate. I'm also a life coach. I meditate, and I also have a mentor, and my mentor is 70 years old. So whatever we go through, we have a prayer life in our home, and we have a prayer life. We have a prayer time. So I'm constantly, meditating, reading God's word. I'm connecting with my support system outside of Challenge to Change, dealing with a lot of coping mechanism skills that was poured into my life. And I'm also, connected with different professional mentors that I have to help me with, my mental health. And I'm also a prayer warrior because after my husband come from off the street, we have to have time for us.
Yes.
Yes. We have to have some me time, and sometimes we have to check out before we burn out. So how we check out, we have to give ourselves a self-inventory check, give ourselves some self-care. We have to just go away. Nothing really inexpensive. We take a weekend to debrief and to like woosah and then hit the streets again and just go back at it again. Because there's always work being done constantly in the city of Baltimore. And then my husband is constantly always on the, the news. They always come in and call into him and ask him how you make it work and stuff like that. While I'm in the background, I'm just praying.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you, Marcia. I know I speak for everyone here that we could have gone on and on to hear about your amazing experiences. I do love that PM put in there. Check out before you burn out. I'm sorry, Uncle T, what was the one you said that all flowers don't blossom at the same time, right? Nicole, I sent you something. If you could respond directly to Minister Eric while we're closing out, I'd appreciate that so much. Thank you so much, Minister Eric. Okay, thank you. So let's give everybody a round of applause who were here and shared their amazing experience, journeys, gave us so much to think about, great advice or inspiration as well, all inspiring everyone here to keep doing what we're doing, no matter how hard it gets, and just keep doing to serve the youth of Baltimore City. This is the stuff, the news. I say it all the time to Hannah, every time we have a meeting, this is the stuff the news should be covering. This is the stuff. So thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Hannah to give you some more information, and we can't wait to see all of you. again soon.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dion, Kim, Terry, Marcia, Nicole, for sharing your experiences and taking the time out of your evening tonight to be with us. It was amazing to listen to everything you all had to share. So to wrap up for this evening, I am just going to share my screen one more time. I know at the beginning, and can everyone see my screen this time? No issues there? Someone give me a thumbs up. All right, wonderful, perfect. So at the beginning of the session, all of our panelists spoke a little bit to the impact and help of the technical assistance sessions in developing your application. So I did just want to highlight, we have one more TA session coming up on Tuesday, March 28th, and that's our last formal large group TA session for this pre-application technical assistance that we're providing. And I did also provide a QR code down here to sign up for some one-on-one or small group application support. If you are looking to boost up your application for some feedback on your application before the application closes on Friday, April 7th, and it closes at 5 o'clock. I do just want to highlight those couple of things and make sure everybody who is joining us tonight knows of some of those resources that are available to you. And the last thing, if you are joining us this evening, if you could just take a few minutes to complete the session evaluation form. All of your feedback is very helpful for us to hear and helps us as we prepare future technical assistance sessions to support applicants. So that is what I will leave you with this evening. Thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening and a happy Friday and a great weekend. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you so much.
Thank you. Be blessed.
Wonderful evening.
You too.
Good
Bye-bye.
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Good evening, everyone.
Be the best of y'all day. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys so much.